What's up, guys? I'm Josh.
I'm Nick.
And this is Heavy Lore. This is our pilot episode number 1, where we're going to be doing, we casted a recent event here for the Archazia's Island Set Champs. And we're going to be checking out one of the games that we did the cast on. You want to talk about the game a little bit, Nick?
Yeah, so this is a really, really cool match for a couple reasons. Number one, it had our set champion, and he didn't win. So that's really cool. So it just shows you, stick in the tournament. If you have a loss throughout the day, don't get discouraged because, just come back and win the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then the other cool thing about it, too, is it was a really neat deck that he played against. Color combination you don't see a lot in Amber Ruby,
Yep.
and it wasn't your typical Mufasa type of list. It was, he called it, what did he call it? Heal songs.
Yeah, he called it heal songs. It was running like aerials and different things that were bringing a ton of songs into play and just removing all these characters. So it was a really cool deck, and we're excited to show it to you guys.
Yeah.
Another thing that you can look forward to in this episode is a deck profile that we did of Bobby, who was our set champ here, running the Kiwi Birds deck. And he just kind of rifles through that deck, shows us the cards that he liked, what he would cut, what he would change. So it's something you guys can kind of look at and see if he's playing the right stuff or whatever you think. And then, Nick, you want to talk about stuff they can look forward to on our channel?
Yeah, well, real quick to piggyback off that, Bobby works with Harlan and a lot of those guys that designed the deck too, so he's texting them right before the event.
Yeah.
This is a really updated list
It
for what they're all running, yeah.
Yep, cool.
And then, we're just going to go over some, basic Lorcana news, things that are going on in the community, big events that are coming up, anything that we can kind of provide some value to you guys, so maybe a little market watch stuff here and there.
And I think that you'll probably you'll definitely get some gameplay from Nick and I as well. I myself am a 6-time set champ, and I know that Nick's got like 5 or 6 under his belt as well. So you'll get some high-level competitive play that you can hopefully build your decks off of as well.
Yeah. So tune in, check it out, and we're looking forward to seeing you here.
Yep, we're excited. Take it easy, guys.
Feature match here, Bobby versus who's Bobby playing? Oh, Chris Carterberger.
Chris.
So this is going to be a fun one.
It looks like we got the deck that you were talking about on stream. It's the Amber Amethyst? No. Yeah.
I'm dead.
No. Amber Ruby.
Yeah, Amber Ruby songs. Yep.
And then we got Bobby. I think Bobby is on Kiwi.
Yeah, Kiwi Birds.
Bobby is our 2-time reigning set champ. So,
Are they both 3-0?
They're both 3-0, and they could have drawn, but Bobby doesn't mess around. He's playing for top seed. He rolled Snake Eyes.
Yeah, which Chris is like one of the better players in the room too. So if he beats Chris here, and then maybe he really wants to be on the play against this deck. You know what I mean? Maybe that could be. Which Bobby being on the play with Kiwi Birds is such an advantage. That is a very tempo-y deck.
Yeah,
so
now he's on the draw. So we'll see how he does twice on the draw.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough matchup, I think, for Bobby, just because they have a lot of answers for his board characters and the Bee Kings and the Tremaines. So there are quite a few answers in Chris Cronenberger's deck. And Chris, I don't know if you know much about Chris, but he was an old Magic player. I actually was sponsored with him with Ultra Reality Games for a little while. He was known for this mono blue control list that he built and won a Star City Games Open with in Magic. So he's like a very, very
well-rounded, skilled player.
Skilled player, yeah.
All right, so we got a good look at
Bobby ship 7. All right, cool.
Quickly
7. Yeah, he's looking for something. I wonder if he scouted this matchup very much, what he's thinking about doing.
Yeah, it could be. And it looks like Chris shipped 6, so.
All right. See, this is the thing is the mulligan process in Lorcana is so powerful that it's a huge advantage when you know how the lines in the matchup and what you need and what your ideal opener is.
Yeah. I always tell people too, these guys know these decks in and out, right? And I always tell people that it's better for you to be an expert at one deck than it is for you to be okay at a bunch of decks, right?
Oh yeah, unless it's a three deck format.
Unless it's a 3-deck format.
You might need those words.
That's true. All right, we're getting into it.
So I see an Alice
first, an Ink Worlds.
Sticky Mickeys in his hand. We got 3 Sticky Mickeys in that hand. Ooh.
Oh, sorry.
He tried to get some free lore and got none. And he's gonna pass.
All right.
That sucks.
Yeah. He doesn't. I don't think he has many 1-drops. His deck is more of it's really a control deck.
So I think the turn 2 play that we're going for here is going to be Ink Mother Gothel and play a Mother Gothel. Put that 3 damage on it.
Yeah, this is very much like a red purple list. You know what I mean? Where it just kind of inks every turn and plays some bombs and keeps cards coming in his hand through these the Madrigal songs and stuff.
I'm glad that he's on. Oh, we got a Jafar. Okay, I'm glad that he's on stream because we can kind of see a new fun deck, man.
Yeah.
Not just your typical meta deck.
Sure. You can
Quest for one with the Mickey pass. You're opening yourself up to, if you're playing yellow, that Mirabelle line. I don't know if he runs it or not, but if he can clear some damage from this this Gothel and take out the Mickey, that's not a great look for Bobby.
Yeah, draw a card, clear damage, take out the Mickey.
Look at this family into the Inkwell. Aerial. I'm not even sure what that aerial does.
I think it's evasive, and I don't remember it either. My phone's dead. Otherwise, I would.
You would look it up.
Look it up.
All right, so we're back to Bobby, and he's going to ink a second Jafar and play that Alice.
Yeah, Bobby just knows he's got to have his foot on the gas pedal here.
So good. So the aerial, what it does is evasive. Whenever you play a song, chosen character of yours gains evasive until the start of your next turn.
Okay, that's what it is. It's a 2/3.
It's a 1/3, I believe it was. Yep, 2/3.
Yeah, and it's chosen character, so it's not even him. So you could give it to your Mother Gothel or something like that, which is pretty relevant.
Hard cast the Beat King.
That kind of feels a little bad there.
It does, because then he can just sack the Mickey.
Yeah.
And you sang a song, so now you got 2 evasive characters.
Yep. And they can't attack. They can't, until the start of the next turn. Yeah, so that protects that.
Yep. But we know that Bobby's actually got a strength in hand. So I wonder if he's going to plan on using this.
So maybe plays Alice, strengths, Mother, so he prevents the Rapunzel play. I mean, he obviously doesn't have the Rapunzel, otherwise he would have played it last turn.
Yeah, if I'm Bobby here, I'm definitely inking the Mickey. It's just served its purpose, and you've got Chen Po coming down next turn.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's going to ink the Chen Po and possibly go Alice and Mickey.
Yeah, I don't understand why he would even consider not inking the
Mickey.
The Mickey, unless he wants to play 2 characters this turn, but it's not like he has a huge card advantage engine. He doesn't really need to deal 4 damage or something.
No,
so.
And you're also playing. Yeah, see, I don't love that, man.
I don't like that either.
Just because you're dumping your hand, and the thing is, you're setting yourself up for some stuff here.
That Chinpo.
Okay, he gets rid of the aerial.
Yeah.
Quest for 2.
Yep.
So we're up to 3.
Damage on our Smee, and this is. I don't know. I mean. That's a lot of power, or a lot of questing power there on the board for.
You know, I don't know what he's running, but if he's got a Maui, he can Maui into that Alice and use the Gothel to take out this. Oh, he inks a Maui. I wonder if he's got another one. Yep, there you go. So, God, dude, I mean, am I speaking everything into existence here?
Oh,
Teeth and Ambitions.
Yep.
Dirty.
Yep.
And he's got to
see if he would have held the Mickey, he could have this turn possibly
inked the Mickey and played the Chen Po.
Played and warded it.
So he's gonna quest with the Alice. It looks at he doesn't have enough ink to even play the Gantu.
Yeah, because he's got a Calhoun in hand. So
this does. I mean,
I feel pretty bad for Bobby right now.
Yeah, I'm speaking early here, but this doesn't look good for him.
If he loses game 1, do you think he offers a draw or what?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I mean, I get what he's doing, playing into top cut.
He can draw next round too if he really wants to. And Bobby's a good enough player. I think he has a good shot to beat just about anybody in the room. So, especially me. He always has my number.
Always.
Can't beat that guy. He's like a magician.
I almost think that you run the Mickey into the Gothel just to get a little bit of board control, but my goodness.
Well, yeah. It's bad because, either way, he's got the Rapunzel play set up, you know?
Yeah, that's true. And, I mean, the thing is...
I would definitely do that if that Maui was...
If he gets a Rapunzel, dude, this game's over.
Untouched, I would definitely do that, but...
I can't see what he drew, but the Beat King is...
A look at this family would be great here. You know what I mean? You can just draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
we're at
Bare Necessity.
Bare Necessity. That card's probably pretty dead right now.
Yeah, he's got a B King in hand. It's like, do you? Yeah, no. Okay.
Gonna wait for him
Bobby's
to
looking
turn
for
sideways.
ink. He found the strength. It's like, do you ink this to play the Gantu?
I think you need that strength. I think you got to.
I mean, the problem is, right? The problem is, this could be a B prep for all Bobby knows,
Yeah.
right? And then he's hard cast strength onto the Maui.
Yeah, now Alice is guaranteed to live, so you can quest for 4 here. 5 with Calhoun, which I'm fine with. And you're going to ward probably the Mickey. Or ward the Calhoun, okay. Calhoun's probably dying next turn anyways. But, yeah, okay.
He is being sticky with that Mickey, man.
Yeah.
Ain't he?
He's leaving there. I think maybe he played I think he took the Mickey to play around the
B King?
B King instead of the Chimpo. Which is fair. He really wants to protect that Alice. That Alice is like the key to him winning this game. It has a lot of, 4 lore at least.
I mean, you gotta assume that this is not how this deck wants to function. With no Rapunzels and no draw and stuff like that. He hasn't drawn into anything yet, but
yeah, usually he has much more card advantage than what he's really seen.
I know from last set too. I mean, this is obviously a different version, but I know from last set that
World's Greatest.
I know from last set that Amber Ruby, like if you get into top deck mode, you lose.
Yeah,
you know, Inkasmi.
The nice part about look at this family and the cards like that is that it will help you find that Rapunzel. So it turns into so many cards.
Yeah. Does he play B prep?
I do think he has some B prep, but I can't remember. I know he plays Sisu. I don't remember if he plays B prep, but Sisu is probably just better than B prep, honestly. Well, it doesn't get the Gantu, but
which has ward now.
Yeah. Now we're at like a position where
the game's over if he doesn't do something about it now. And it looks like he drew another song. I can't see, man. Teeth and Ambitions, maybe.
Yeah.
This game's just
scoop him up.
God, that was kind of a brutal.
Man, that was. I thought Bobby was out of that game.
He was in a terrible position if Chris could get anything going. But
the more that I think about that game, though, the more I do like inking the Chinpo there and playing the Mickey just to play around the B King and the Lady Tremaines.
Okay.
All right. Whew. So we have a really cool, was that like a Kraken play mat for Bobby over here? That thing's sweet. You think of Pirates of the Caribbean a little bit. Also a Disney movie. I think they should eventually, like years down the road, maybe come out with like a Jack Sparrow, like Pirates of the Caribbean card line. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because they can do all those other Disney movies. It doesn't have to be just, animated stuff, although that's what it is right now.
Yeah.
But they could have Star Wars technically in there. They can have Marvel, like they could do some really cool expansions.
I'm looking forward to the Pixar stuff coming in to 2026.
I think they should have a Emperor's March song. That'd be sweet.
So we do want to give a quick shout out to Bobby. He's playing on the Ray here. We wanted to give him a quick shout out. He's the one who programmed our lore tracker and our ink tracker and everything. So shout out to Bobby for doing that. It's awesome.
Bobby is one of the good ones.
So we do see finally that Chris is drawn into a Rapunzel line.
Yeah, there we go. We got some card advantage on that side of the table.
Yep, we got a little card advantage.
Oh, thank you. Oh, nice. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Apple. Yeah, all right. Thank you.
A potato phone.
Yeah.
Just waiting for Rapunzel that whole time.
All right, so Bobby won there on the draw.
All right. He's not out of the woods yet, though. I do think this is a pretty good matchup for Chris, typically.
I think that it's a good matchup for him on the play, but it's got to be a tough one for him.
Winning on the draw for Bobby's big. That's for sure. We got here, 8 to farm, player hood. All right.
Man, I think that this meta is way, way too fast to not be playing 1-drops, but I'm also a purple player who plays 12, so it's like...
Yeah. You just have to have the ability to come back. I know he did have, what did he have as a 1-drop? I don't know if he still plays or not, but he was playing the card soldiers, where it gets +2 if there's any damage character. Yeah. So it works well with the Mother Gothlon too. You have basically a Captain Hook essentially. Better actually, because it's
A 3/2 on your turn too, or on their turn.
So you're setting up the Rapunzel line.
Bare necessities.
Yeah.
Take his strength or
It's a
something.
whiff. But at least now you.
I mean, now you know you're gonna draw a
now you have
million
the
cards.
information. Yeah.
It feels brutal if he draws the strength off the top.
Well, yeah. My gosh.
We're gonna ink a card here.
You got to keep the Mauis.
Yeah, I like the Maui a
You
lot.
have to keep the Mauis in this matchup. It's too good. And he's got 2 in hand, man. It's such a. Yeah, there you go.
That's fine.
Get rid of that.
Teeth actually would be a great. Next turn you could
Bobby off
Rapunzel
the top
and
gets
then
a.
sing Teeth. But yeah, most of the stuff is ward anyway, so.
Pluto off the top. That Goth will present such an issue for this deck. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think he can quest this turn, right?
Yeah.
He's a Pete.
Yeah, he's got to assume that.
Oof.
Okay, he's gonna keep his foot on the gas, I guess.
Yeah. So that Goth was going to be able to take out one of them,
Yeah.
which is the more threatening. It's got to be Robin Hood, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know. I think I like taking out the Smee here, which should have a damage on it. Just because it's a 2-quester. But I mean, I guess you can, if he shifts Robin Hood, you feel bad, but
Oh, you feel terrible.
yeah.
I
Maybe,
love the Gothel Rapunzel line, man. It just turns a 2/2 or a 2-cost character into a 3/4, man. It's just so aggressive.
yeah, so it'll live through.
Yeah, because he just drew into a big king, right? So I think your play here is he can't do it.
Teeth.
He played Pete this turn. Yeah, I'm gonna go stop that. Yep.
Oh, Pete.
Okay, so he can't do that.
They
this
figured
turn.
it out.
Yeah, they figured it out. I think you run it in.
Yeah, it's like I'm just gonna kill it anyway.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that. It's fine because Bobby's trying to go fast and
Take away the lore.
Take away the lore. Yeah, he can run something else into it, which you're fine with. Bobby's got a mana in hand, which actually could be pretty difficult for him to deal with it. But he does have the Mauis.
He does
so.
have Maui still, yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that the play line here actually is going to end up being, if he plays a character, Pluto. Okay, so now we've got.
Does he just quest or no? Okay, gonna take that out and quest here.
So yeah, I know that Chris is going to be able to at this turn actually run Maui into Pluto, and then he could sing Be King.
Yep.
But I don't know if that's a play he wants to take because your Maui just dies.
He could also run. He could sing B King first. Nah, it's probably not great either. Play the Maui.
Yeah.
He could play
I think
Maui and
he's-
pass actually if he wants, and then run the Rapunzel into the Pluto to put a damage on it. Oh, that's cool. We knew he had that too.
Oh, smart.
Yeah.
Good play. So he takes what, 3 damage there?
Yep. And the Maui lives. So he can trade the Pete if he wants.
Well, now we're at a weird spot, man. He's got a Cogsworth.
Oh, the Cogsworth feels really good here.
You think so? 'Cause
Well-
you know he's playing B King.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing feels good if I'm Bobby now. Okay, I think that Chris is positioned way better.
Play the Gantu pass. Yeah, he's gonna play around the B King.
Oh, he drew into another one.
Another what? B
B
King?
King. Yeah, he's got
So
2 in
double.
hand. Oh my God.
Oh, Rapunzel,
no.
even better.
And now he's gonna double sing. He's got to be double sing, right? You got to prevent the
yeah,
war
yeah,
game.
yeah, you can still double sing it.
Yep. There you go.
Yep. Yeah, this is getting out of control here for Chris.
Yeah.
Now he's got a fresh Maui. He's got
He
2
hasn't inked
Rapunzels on
this
the
turn.
board.
He can still ink and play a card if he wants to.
If he wants to. I think he's just going to take the
I
advantage.
think that's a sign of a really good player is you're not forcing the ink,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, all the games we've watched so far, everybody just inks the ink, and you don't need to. I mean, Chris has already got 5 ink out, potentially 6 next turn. There's not a whole lot he's going to play in his deck. That's much more than that. Plus, he's got all these singers too.
Bobby's got Robin Hood. Bobby's in trouble. Bobby's got Robin Hood coming down, and I just saw Medusa in Chris's hand. So
Yeah. So
maybe it definitely was Medusa.
Ooh, I like keeping that card just for the advantage, but I understand what we're doing here.
You
He's got
don't need
plenty
it
of cards in
anymore.
hand. He's got another Rapunzel too.
He's got it already in hand anyway.
Yeah, he's got 2. Nice. So he's just gonna continue to just progress his hand, progress his board.
Well, this is how this deck is supposed to function.
Yep.
Bobby is. Man, this is a cool deck.
Isn't it neat? Yeah, it's a very cool deck. Got the Shark Maui and the Rapunzel. It's a lot like blue purple or purple red, but just obviously instead of purple you have the card advantage engine of Amber.
Yeah, if I'm Bobby, I'm just scooping because there's just no point. He's got another B King in hand.
And a Shark Maui, which is like super hard for him to deal with.
Yeah, he's good.
We're live here with Bobby, 3-time set champion here at SideQuest. So we played Kiwi Birds today.
Yep.
What do we like about the deck? What's your good matchups, bad matchups?
So I like Ward. So I was around when Justin and Harlan were like concepting Kiwi Birds, and it was like a super fun sort of experience to just see all the different things that they were trying. So like I've seen it be around some. I took it to set champs in set 6, and I did not so great with it. And as far as matchups go, I brought it because I was expecting a lot of steel, so that's why I say I like Ward.
The Cogsworth and the Alice.
The Alice's, just warding Pluto up. It's very hard for like steel someone
100%.
and steel to deal with. So that's what I like, most about that. I don't have a ton of reps on the deck, so that's why going into finals against Red Purple, I was kind of worried because that's kind of my big bad from last of champs. I kept getting beat by Red Purple.
Yeah.
But I was able to just kind of play around. I knew they were on some Tremaines and Vikings Undisputed, so I was just trying to keep some more stuff on board.
Yeah.
Be a little bit more conservative with some of the quests to make sure that I had drops that I could sack.
How'd the Swiss rounds go? You went 3-1, 3-1-1?
3-1-1, yeah. So I took the first 3 rounds.
What were your matchups in 2?
Honestly, at this point,
remember?
Yeah, I know the round 1
been a long day.
was Amber Amethyst aggro.
Okay.
And round 2 was I don't remember.
Yeah,
I have it like on my
Yeah.
Discord, but yeah. But yeah, then I got into round 4, which I remember because I could have just drawn in, but I decided to try to play it out.
Yeah.
It's this Ruby Amber deck that somebody was playing, Chris, and I was pretty confident going into that, but he just had all the B King Undisputed that he needed.
He had every answer.
That was a brutal one to watch.
Every
Yeah,
time
on
I'd get
camera.
something big on the board, he'd just take down the small thing that I had to protect it, and
then take it out with like a Tremaine or something. Yeah.
You did a good job playing around B King, and both in that match the best you could, but then also in the finals. And the finals deck that you played against Jimmy's Red Purple was kind of tacked for you too, and you're still able to get it, which was really nice.
That was the same thing in set 6. Those Tremaines and the Medusas and stuff that not all Red Purple players are still playing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Around here, it feels like everybody always brings them to set champs, and I'm always running into Tremaines and Medusas.
Yeah, because you see more of the Peter Pan evasive list now, and
Peter Pan Shadowfinder with Yagos and the Maui Shark.
which you're probably happy to play that.
I don't mind it. As long as I get a lot of lore in before the Shark, then I'm pretty happy in that matchup. But
I think that list being super popular kind of opened the door for a return of like the Medusas and the Tremaines, because a lot of people were just not worried about that deck coming around anymore, playing those 3 statted characters like Smeeze and stuff like that. So it was cool to see you win though. Do you want to do a little deck profile and we'll kind of get into it? We'll see what you were playing.
All right, we're in.
Let's run through this deck profile. We're going to go through just from top to bottom on the 1-drop. So let's talk about the 1-drops. You got 4 Sticky Mickeys.
Yep. 4 Sticky Mickeys, excellent in steel. It gets you 2 to 3 lore almost guaranteed most times. So,
You're running that out against. You're looking for that against any like amber steel or purple steel
Amber
decks,
steel,
really.
green steel, purple steel. I'm a little bit less worried about because some of them are running fire of the cannons, but not a ton of them. So
Okay.
I'm a little bit less worried about that. But yeah, he's just real good in steel matchups to make sure you one drop sticks and you get a couple lore off of them.
Cool.
And then got the Robin Hoods.
Grab those Mickeys as he kind of pulls them out. Just take them off to the side there, Nick. So we just have
sure.
Yep, cool. 4 Robin Hoods, obviously running into the shift line.
Yep, definitely the shift line. Robin Hood is one of my favorite characters in the game, whether it's in Amber Steel or this or even Purple Steel. Like, I don't know. Anytime I am not running Robin Hood in a steel deck, I feel a little bit worse about it.
Yeah.
So,
So when are you looking for? Is there any specific matchups you're like, I don't want this card, I do want this card?
honestly, I don't try to like mulligan hard for him or anything like that at all. It's kind of just a happy accident when it happens, and when it does happen, I just,
Just roll with it.
Just roll with it. So
Cool. And stack those. Next, we got the 2-drop line. We've got 3 cannons. Okay.
Yep. So.
Another super hard character for steel decks to get rid of.
Yep. So it's hard for Steel to deal with, and she just does so well on the draw into lots of different things. She's hard to get rid of. She's scary. She stops people from questing.
Yeah.
Checks all the one drop purple cards in.
Yeah, pretty much just pretty versatile. Some people have cut her for more inkable stuff. There were a few times today where my hand got bricked, and it wasn't specifically Calvin's fault, but
Yeah.
lower uninkables is really the trend. So some people have cut her. I still really like her, just like Robin Hood. So
yeah, I've talked about that a little bit, like too. Like when you're building a deck, like there's a huge advantage to having like a sub 12, sub 10 uninkable count.
Yeah.
Because the mulligan aspect is so important of the game, and it allows you to be very aggressive mulliganing.
Mulligans. Yeah, if you can mulligan, 5 to 7 cards without having to worry about it, I think that's part of the reason why Blurple was so consistent.
Yeah.
Because they just low uninkables.
Yeah.
No 1-drops a lot of the Blurple decks these days, and they're just mulling hard for 2-drop ramp into a 4-drop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They can mull 7, 6, 5, and hit that like so super consistently.
Right.
Some are running like bells and stuff now that they're mulling harder for, but
Yeah.
for a while there, they were running no 1-drops and just
And even keeping the uninkable count low with that. So, okay, cool, fine. I got a popsicle. I'm going to ship everything. Look for that bell, No problem.
Okay, cool. So then we're moving on to the
Mr. Shmee.
probably
One of the strongest cards.
I mean,
in
maybe
Steel.
the best 2-drop in the game probably is.
It's going to be missed in rotation when that comes along, but super good. A little bit less good than in Amber Steel, purely for the fact that we don't run any heals, so
Right.
he is dying after a few quests. But he also
you do have a couple captains, right? And
Yep.
and I was surprised. God, well, I won't spoil it, but that card is a captain
Yep.
too, right? Yeah,
Yep.
I think it took a damage one time in your finals where it maybe
Did
didn't
it?
need to.
I
Yeah.
might have missed that. I was worried about Gantu being captain too.
Well, you also have Cogsworth, right, that can
Yeah,
come
Cogsworth.
down and
Pseudo captain. Yeah.
pseudo captain and just kind of keep him alive. Cool.
4 docks. This is basically the only draw in this deck. So when you don't find any docks, it feels really bad. But
Yeah.
when you do find multiple docks at the same time, I don't know if that was
Game 3.
game 3 of the,
Yeah, you had
game
2
three of
docks
the
in
finals. I
hand.
had 2 docks in hand,
And then
game
drew into
3
another
of the semifinals. I had 2 docks in hand at the same time.
Yeah.
That always feels real bad. But when you can hit dock into dock, like those games are almost just guaranteed for you.
Yeah.
I think
Keep putting more stuff down.
all the steel draws kind of feel bad multiples, the whole new worlds, the docks, the new one on the new set will be okay, but
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they just don't want to give steel draw, probably for good.
for good measure,
Yeah.
'cause it's the strongest color in the game.
So
Yeah.
much stuff good in there. 4 Alices. This is really the core of the Kiwi deck, right? Like before, Blue Steel was mostly Blue Steel Wheel, and then last set we saw Harlan and Justin really push this Kiwi deck, and Harlan took it to the European Championships, last chance qualifier, day 2'd with it, and then I think he placed 42nd in the championships. So. Yeah, it's been. I love Alice. Alice into Pluto is just
Oh my God, it's
one of
broken.
the
Yeah,
best
it's one of the
feelings
best
in
lines.
in the game. But even her just protecting your other bigger drops, that it's always very versatile. If they can't take her out right away, then she's protecting them.
Yeah, I mean, you're gaining
and-
an automatic 3 lore at least.
Really solid singer too.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed to be able to sing next turn when you play her.
It sometimes feels bad to have to sing with her,
Right.
but like if there's a crab or a genie on board, sometimes you just need to get rid of them before those do too much damage to you. So. Pete,
Yep.
another candidate for one of the strongest steel cards.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Might be one of the strongest cards in the game.
Yeah,
honestly.
definitely one of the strongest cards of the game, and he doesn't rotate, so we'll be seeing him around for
quite a while.
quite a while. But yeah, he just stops some decks in their tracks. You know, he lets you catch up with Steel Song, gives you another turn. If you play him turn 6 into Ruby decks, you can
Be prep. Yeah.
put off
Yeah.
a B prep and just tons of actions that you don't want to see.
Yeah.
Stops.
I mean, there's really no matchup where you don't want to draw into it,
Yeah.
really.
Well, and the other thing with Pete too, like number one, he's inkable. So in a matchup where there is not a lot of actions, you can just ink the guy. But he's a 3/3 body, which is really well statted.
good. Yep.
And like against certain decks, he just shuts down the whole deck. Like
Yeah,
you play
yeah.
against the Din deck, like you're like, okay, cool. You have
You have a shark on board, that doesn't matter. You
that
can't
doesn't
do
matter.
anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So great card for sure.
Yep.
Got 3 John Silvers.
All right, cool.
This is an interesting card.
Yeah, so I don't know if all the Kiwi decks run these days. It was one that was in and out when Kiwi was kind of being concepted. And he is a captain, so he does protect your Smee.
Protect your Smee on turn 3. I mean, you can, yeah.
And he is really very good in different situations, but one of the biggest ones is Maui Shark. Maui Sharks are one of the scariest things to see when you're on this deck, because if they have a Maui Shark on board and then they play a Pirate's Life and then
Just
challenge
cycle
in
it.
and then they get it back, and then you're just basically going to be out of gas. So if you can buy another turn with the rest of your board and quest out one more, even if you can't win it right there that next turn, that lets you just build the board even wider.
Yeah, get to a
and
higher
they-
lore count as well.
Not all Maui Shark decks are running full be prepared and stuff, so it's a little bit, or make them be prep their own Maui
Yeah.
Shark for
Yeah.
one lore, so that's really nice to have him
Cool.
in certain situations.
Yeah.
The Jafars. Oh, we're playing 4. So
Jafars,
tell us about this card and why it's important in this deck.
And this is unique for your deck for the most part. I haven't seen this.
I
in any
put
of
this in. I don't think a lot of people are running it. I don't think 4 is correct. Probably, I would maybe go down to 2 and put a couple more 2
I saw
drops.
it's inked a lot of times.
It
Yeah.
was inked a lot today, but there were a couple times, like in the Kiwi mirror, where it was really important. So Jafar hitting your Calhoun takes out their Pluto, as long as there's not a Cogsworth on board.
Yeah.
So a lot of people aren't going to expect that. So they might just quest. They're going to ward their Pluto, and then you've got a Calhoun on board, maybe alone or whatever, maybe Mr. One Top. You play this on turn 3, or not on turn 3 if they got Pluto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You play this, they're not expecting it. It takes out their Pluto and
Gain 2
or
lore.
whatever, and you gain 2 lore.
Yeah.
It's really flexible. It's almost a crab. It doesn't get it on the way out, but it quests for 2. I do kind of wish this was a 2/3 like the other Amethyst card that's coming in Raina Jafar. I don't remember what her name is, but
Yeah.
yeah, it just lets you do some
Beefing
stuff
up the
that
Calhoun
people
or
don't
whatever
expect.
else. Yeah.
Mickey Mouse too. would
I
be
mean,
a
even
good one.
beefing up a
yeah.
Mickey that can
Yeah.
challenge into any kind of Amethyst
Yep.
3
Yeah.
drop.
Little Mickey, it'll take out I think
Calhouns or
3.
Smees or anything.
willpower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I do like that.
Into the 4 drops and the Beast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pluto.
Yep.
Another part. Alice and Pluto and Cogsworth are just the core of the Kiwi deck. It's really hard, especially when you ward this, for people to get around the negative of it. So 5/5 bodyguard for 4 is super strong. And people can get around it if they're running storms or fire the cannons or just one little damage pings, but you get the ward on him, and then
Then it
you've gotta
requires
make
at least 2 characters.
some
right?
real bad challenges to, and I mean, you can get around it with, if you run a Chernobog's into it and Fox something else, but then they have
That
to
feels
pass their
bad
2
still.
drop, and
Yeah.
it makes things real hard for people. So
Yeah. Cool.
it's good. Got the strengths. You'll notice I don't have any storms in here. I had them in the deck last set, and I had them in there as of an hour before set champs.
Really?
And I messaged Harlan and I was like, hey, should I cut, or what changes should I make here? And he's like, you should cut the storms.
Yeah.
And a couple other cards that I had.
So what's the reasoning behind that?
So storms just make you brick a little bit more. They are removal, but a lot of times you just want to be questing, and you don't want to necessarily be doing 2 damage to something as much as
Yeah, you're the tempo deck.
decks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So storm is fun. Like if you have to sing strength with Alice, or like most of the time you would rather do it with Pete or with John Silver or something like that.
Okay.
But
Well, there's so many like 3 and 4 willpower characters
Yep.
too. To waste a turn singing Storm or hard casting a Storm just feels kind of
Yeah.
bad. So
yeah, so
I can
get rid
understand
of
that.
more uninkables. Keep the bare minimum of removal for especially evasives. This deck has some challenges with. We talked about Sticky Mickey. I think one of the cards that a lot of people are running over him, and it's probably right, but
Happy.
is happy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
2/1 gets evasive during your turn. Super good, especially if you're expecting a lot of Diablo and stuff like that. Just to either make them have it or scare them off from turning it sideways. So.
Those also open up you to be able to play like the mine too if
Yeah.
you wanted to.
Yeah.
You know.
I do like that style as well.
Yeah.
Mines.
Very very interesting.
Instead of mines today, I'm on duck manners. That was something else that they're like, you need to have manners in if you're expecting any ruby in the room. And I wasn't expecting a lot of ruby in the room, but there's a lot more than
Yeah.
a lot more than I was expecting.
It was
today, so
it was really good for you in the finals match when you were like presented this board and the manner. It's like you can't deal
You
with
can't
both.
be prepped
Yeah.
because you're going to lose because the mana will just stick around.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
manner, I ink it a lot of times, but there are certain situations where they're just not going to be able to handle a 9 willpower 2 lore every turn.
You know, just hold it till they beat prep and boom. You
Yeah.
know, like that's a good
Play
line
it on
too.
turn 6 or after. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, McDuck Man is great.
And then we got 4 Robin Hoods for the shift.
Yep.
Like I said,
Been one of the best
Robin
cards in
Hood.
the game for however many 5-6 sets now. Yeah.
It puts in a lot of work.
3/6. You draw a card when he's banished on challenge, and you get 2 lore when you banish him on challenge. Like Calhoun and Robin Hood both are. I really like that. I think a lot of people don't respect that lore, or but when you can be on tempo, get 2 lore while also taking care of their board, I think that's just super strong.
Yeah, it
Calhoun
is.
and Robin Hood both.
Well, that's the struggle sometimes with being the aggro deck is like you can't control the board because you're racing. When you have something like Robin Hood or Calhoun, you're able to race and control the board, which is dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also presenting the threat, right? Like, okay, do I want to quest with this crab here now because he can just shift and get rid of it with the Robin Hood? So.
And in a heavy steel meta, I mean, a 3/6 body is
Yeah,
difficult.
It
Yeah.
can't be Zeus.
Nope.
But it doesn't get hit straight off of the big Sisu. It is susceptible to Medusas, though.
That's true.
I don't know if it happened in the finals match or in a different match, but yeah, very susceptible to Medusa. People are running them locally.
Yeah, great card.
4 Cogsworth.
one of my
Cogsworth
favorite
is
cards.
I love Cogsworth so much. He makes all the math very difficult for
Oh my God.
for everybody.
So
Yeah.
many people mess that up too. I mean, they like,
I've messed it up.
Oh, shoot, I was Cogsworth out there. And you're like, nah, you can't take that back.
telling you guys
I'm not
about
going to
it,
be a
like-
nice guy.
Top 32 in Atlanta last year. I was against R&B, who was playing Blue Steel, and I played a Zeus on a Beast, and he had a Cogsworth.
Yeah.
And he just puts 4 damage on it, and I'm just like,
Oops.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I literally said to him, I was like, I'm an idiot. Pass. Like,
GG's.
like nothing I could do there. I'm not gonna ask to take that back. Like,
Yeah.
No,
They
yeah.
did it.
not at that level
Not
of
at the
play.
DL.
Yeah, you already know. You almost feel like you almost feel like more of an idiot if you ask.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, so-
Yeah, I meant to do that.
4 damage, pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Cogsworth is like the glue. It's really nice to follow up a Pluto with it, and
Yep.
that just makes it even harder to get rid of. So
I think him giving resist 1 is like incredibly strong, but him having ward is just like unbelievable.
yeah, and he's a 2-quester too. So if you're hiding behind a bodyguard, he's gonna close that game out
Yeah,
quick.
and I mean, more often than not, you're never turning that card
The
sideways.
thing is,
you know?
too, is when you start getting multiples out, the game is over.
Yeah.
I mean, they just against anything that doesn't play red. I mean, the
Yeah.
game is pretty much
No beat
over.
prep.
In
Yeah.
my top 8 match, I went against a Blurple player, and we were in game 3, and they were ahead. They had 2 Elsas on board, and I had an Alice, and then I played a Cogsworth, and then they played like a Bell or the 3-drop Bell, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then they had played a couple crabs or something like that, Merlin crabs. I don't think they had much else, but they weren't getting much value out of them. And I just top checked 3 Cogsworths in a row.
Oh, no.
Cogsworth into Cogsworth into Cogsworth. Just didn't quest or anything until I had 3 Cogsworth on board.
Yeah, you're questing for 6.
yeah.
Yeah, and then what are you going to do?
And then I quested.
They're all 2/5 body resist 2s.
Yeah, and Blurple has no answer for wards.
And every other creature you play is resist 3. So yeah,
So I
Kelly's
just started
resist 4.
questing Alice and 2 of the Cogsworths and something else, and he can't do anything about it. Like,
Yeah.
in those colors and
Yeah, let me deal -1
Sapphire,
damage to your
yeah,
palace
yeah.
real quick.
Well, even their spot removal, like Hades and Let It Go and stuff, that's not gonna hit it. It's got ward.
Right.
You know? So
yeah, but every
Captain
time I saw him
Cranky.
ink the Let It Goes, I'm like,
That's good.
that's good for me.
Yeah,
that's
My
good
next
for me.
thing is more likely to live. For Gantu, because we like Gantu, as Harlan and Justin like to say.
Yep.
He's just a super threatening thing. He's
Him being a 4/3 is
well,
incredible.
he'll gain you 4 lore and trade with something usually.
Yep.
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
So 4/3, a little bit weak to steel removal. Strength is going to be at least 3 a lot of times. But he lives against Medusa. He is like removal bait if they have the removal that removes him. And
The thing I like about him too is like because you're playing an aggro deck, all the removal's gone by the time he comes out anyways.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if they got it at that point, then good for them. But,
Yeah, and him coming down a turn, like if you're on the play, him a turn before Tremaine and a couple turns before B prep, it's like you're gonna get the 4 lore.
and if you ever can go like Alice into Pluto into him, and you
And
can
continue
you can
the
continue
ward-
to ward, you
keep
can ward
warding.
him, and then they still have to deal with the Pluto.
if they don't have an answer for Pluto, then
Yeah.
they're just kind of
Game's
out
over.
of it.
Game's over. Yeah.
Fine. Last but not least, the big boy.
Last but not least, I'll take those there. Last but not least,
sorry.
we got here Jinpo.
Jianpo.
I love this card.
I didn't have him in the deck. That was another one that I put in
An hour before.
An hour before.
Did it do? We saw you ink it most of the time in the finals.
I think I just didn't have enough ink to
Ink to
play
deal
him when
with
I
it,
need
yeah.
him. But when I can play him, I really enjoy playing him. He was like a staple in Amber Steel aggro that I played for a lot. So like one of my most favorite things to do is play the 3-cost dock that gives you a discount when it
Play it on
quests.
4.
Yeah, play that on 3, play this on 4, and then people are just like,
They go like
what am I supposed to do?
Daisy,
Yeah.
Piglet, Doc,
Yeah.
Chimpo. Okay, good luck.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
get this 4/7 off the board real quick
So
with my entire board.
If like Amethyst didn't like foresee themselves with a crab on the board to do something else and then foxing the crab, that's about one of the only outs to Chinpo like
Yeah.
on curve. But he's just super good. Stats super good. Quest for a little bit less than you'd want in an aggro deck, but decks literally everything else.
Lives through Maui, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yep.
You could maybe play Bagheera in that slot, but I don't know. I
I
think
considered
that
it as well, but I was, like I said, I was expecting a lot of Steel today, and Steel just doesn't want to deal with Chinpo, so
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
yeah.
Cool, man. So you said that you'd probably have teched 2 Jafars out, but is there any other changes you would have made now that you've kind of gone through the day, or? Obviously, you
Happy with
winning.
the list
Yeah, I mean, it
overall.
ran pretty well.
Like I said, I could have ran Happy. I didn't really have any issues with running into Diablos today or anything, so I didn't miss those. But yeah, if I was to run Happy, I might run a couple mines instead of the McDuck Manors, and yeah, that's probably about.
Get some value that way.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, that's a big congrats to Bobby on his 3rd consecutive set champs win here at SideQuest Games. So we're calling all challengers for for set.
So we gotta take this guy
Somebody's
down.
gotta
Ran
take
the
this-
far.
Yeah, somebody's got to take this guy
We'll
down.
have a belt next year.
We gotta have somebody take this guy down. Yeah. Well, congrats, Bobby. That's his blue steel deck.
Very good, man.